for coming on today.
It's my pleasure. I was listening to you like just when you first jumped on. I'm like, he talks like a pastor.
Well, I'm a former pastor,
Yeah,
so I guess that's what it is. It's in the blood. No matter what I do, I promise you, 30 years from now, I will still have the same sound, I guess.
Yes, you got a pastor tease. It's strong on you.
On my IG Live, I put up a little snippet of me doing my new audiobook. Mm-hmm. And so people were commenting back like, all right, voice. But it's not about me. It's not about me today. It's about you. I'm so glad to have you on. You are pretty somebody.
You think so? I appreciate it.
Why not, right?
I appreciate that compliment. It's very nice of you to say.
Absolutely. Like you do the thing. You really are on it. Now, the last thing you were doing that I know of for sure, mm-hmm. you were doing Sister Circle, which was mm-hmm. an amazing TV show. You're a producer on there. Tell me about that experience, because that was semi-groundbreaking mm-hmm. for there to be all Black female cast of a hit daytime show on a major network. How was that for you working with that?
It was an amazing experience. It's interesting because it was also very challenging. I was actually mm-hmm. speaking with someone earlier today about just with Black media in general. A lot of times mm-hmm. we have great shows, we have great ideas, we have great talent and great teams, but we have limited resources. And so we were able to, rise to the occasion and really make lemonade out of lemons. And, like I was talking to someone about, how you make lemonade, you have the cool ice cubes, you got the sugar, you might get a little taste of something here and there. Well, we just had lemons and a little bit of water. So we made
it work.
We made lukewarm lemon juice. When we made it look like a nice, cool cup of lemonade. So it was a gratifying experience. I learned so much. I grew a lot. And just to be around, the four women who hosted the show, Quad Webb, Selena Johnson, Rashawn Ali, Trina Braxton, love you all, and Kiana Dancy, who started with the show and later departed. But I learned so much from them, and we had an amazing team, and it was an amazing run. Obviously, very disappointing that it came to an end, but I walked away, and we all did, I believe, feeling like we didn't leave anything to chance. We didn't leave anything on the table. We gave it all we had, and we made history. And to be a part of anything that's groundbreaking and historic for me is a blessing. So I'm grateful for the experience overall.
Well, it was well done. So I can attest to that. Absolutely. Congratulations. That was, as a Black man watching the show, I was very proud of what we were doing. And for anybody who's watching now, like that show, we're talking about Sister Circle, that show was definitely epic and, like you said, groundbreaking, ahead of its time, really, I think, for a lot of people. I think if that decision wouldn't have been made until, let's say, if they had to make it in August, I think it'd still be on the air, right? I think it'd still be on the air.
You know what's so crazy? I talk about that with some of my former coworker friends all the time, and like they missed the mark. I mean, it wouldn't have been canceled. There's no way. We would have been the hub.
There's no way.
Yeah, everybody would have come to Sister Circle to really kind of air out their grievances about what's going on, and we could have been a hub for tactical strategies to be able to go out and do things and make change. And so, it's crazy to think about that, but also I keep my eye on Facebook, and Sister Circle Live's Facebook and Instagram pages are still live, and people still go and watch the episodes on Facebook and comment like the show is still going on, which is, to me, a testament to not just the work we've done, but the need to have content like we have. So my hope is that, Sister Circle, we open doors for other platforms to be open to this type of content, because we need it, quite frankly.
We absolutely need it. We need our voices out there. I was actually, I strangely fell asleep to Roland Martin the other day. So online, it's kind of weird. I thought I was watching something intentionally and fell asleep. And when I woke up, it was like still on YouTube. And so I was thinking to myself, there's not many voices I can hear. Trevor Noah, Roland Martin, there's not many voices that I can go to say these are Black voices that I can respect and honor and have seen doing some work and have seen talking about issues that are relevant to what we do. So your show that show actually had so much gravitas. It had weight, and it was respected for that reason, that it had strong Black women with great opinions, who, I mean, they definitely had their opinions, who who are able to voice those and vocalize them in such a dynamic way. So I think you were onto something. Honestly, what's next? Because after that, after working with that, I know that's got your blood boiling for something else. Like there's no way that you could be stagnant after that.
Cool. I want to piggyback off of your comment, and then I'll move to answering your question. I just
Yes.
wanted to say thank you for sharing, your thoughts and just how you feel about the show and the positive energy, because we work so hard. Sometimes when you work so hard on things, you don't really have an insight into how you're serving others and what it means to other people. So in you saying that, it just kind of a sense of gratefulness just overtook me just now, saying, okay, Lord, thank you for the opportunity. It stings a bit to know overall how we ended, but to know that
Yes.
people were impacted, it means that all the labor, the long nights, the tough times and the good times, they weren't in vain. So I really appreciate you saying what you said.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you. And as far as what I'm doing next, it's interesting because COVID kind of, everybody's kind of in this standstill kind of spot. And, for me personally, I'm in a position where I'm moving more on the entrepreneurial track versus just working for someone. I've worked for people, and it might sound weird because I've only been in the industry like 10 years and people will say, oh, she's young. You haven't been in the industry that long. You shouldn't be tired of it. But
that's pretty big for 10 years.
I appreciate that. But I think I'm at a point now where I just want to create without certain boundaries and limitations. And so I'm really just working on some projects with my creative partners. And, in the freelance space, if there's a project or a production that kind of comes about amidst this COVID pandemic that, my heart is tied and feels a connection with, because everything I do is a passion thing. Then I'll hop on that. And then I'm doing my, my IG live show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern called Just a Thought, which I absolutely, it's a great way for me to stretch and show people that, my range, and that a lot of people just see me as a producer, but I believe that I'm much more than that. And so it's great to create some really great conversations and do some stuff in front of the camera. And then also I have a radio show that's coming out in a couple of weeks called The Gray Area. So I will keep you guys posted on that. I'm very excited about it. And I'm really just out here trying to connect, like even what we're doing now, just really trying to continue to build my brand and connect with as many great men and women, especially of color, on the content creative side as I can. So that's where I'm standing right now.
I love that. I love that. You are on the other side of it now.
Yeah.
And I love that because it is causing you to stretch, like you said, to push yourself and to try other things. It's interesting because my PR team is Tops PR. And so
hey, y'all,
Leslie,
who I love. Hey, Leslie.
Leslie, Priscilla, and the whole team. They're amazing. And they were, I think at the time, they were trying to get me to be known on the show. And I think there was some blocking because of me not having a national appearance yet. What do you tell to somebody? And this is something that I really have been praying about because I talk to a lot of people. I do not just love coaching, but I also do success stuff. And so I talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs who are like, how do I build up this name? And how do I get out there? If I don't get an opportunity, how do I get an opportunity? And so what do you say to somebody being on the backside of that to say, this is how you would push yourself ahead in whatever industry you're in?
I think the first thing, with my industry in particular too, is understanding that there's levels to the level of exposure that you receive. So, the show Sister Circle, for instance, was a nationally syndicated show, which would, a lot of times require at least some local TV experience. So if now, say for instance, you went viral, because once people go viral, it's over. People don't care.
That's a wrap.
Because
now
you can
go viral, but that don't mean you're good at an interview.
Exactly, but let me tell you something. They'll put you in an interview anyway, just because you went viral. I'm gonna keep it totally real with you. It's about what people are seeing and talking about. So you go viral, all of what I'm saying goes out the window. Not saying that you should aim to go viral all the time, but I'm just saying if it happens to you, God bless you, you're gonna be on TV the next day.
There you go.
But I think that one of the things is always using your own platform. What we're doing right now is so important. I do the same thing with Just a Thought. I fight.
Yes.
I've been fighting like a dog for people to take me seriously as a media personality, which is weird because I went to school to do it. I think I'm pretty good at it, but people still look at me, producer. No, she cannot. That's all she's gonna do. But just me creating Just a Thought and creating my own rules and doing it my way and
Mm,
showing people how I can move and function in a live camera capacity, it's already opening doors for me. Hi,
I
Daddy. I'm
love it.
sorry, I had to stop, say hi to my father
No,
who's
no,
on.
that's good.
He
Everybody,
joins
hey.
every live I'm on. He treats everything like the big game. So hi, Daddy. Happy Sunday. I have to call you later. And so I think that that's a big key, what we're doing now. And then also, if you do have aims to get exposure and expose your brand on a local or a national level, local level is a little bit easier. A lot of times local outlets are looking for content. They're looking for
Right.
something interesting. They're not as pressed about how much television you've done. Do you have a great story? Do you have a great look? Let's do
Right.
it. Once you get a lot of those opportunities, and sometimes it might just be 2 or 3 under your belt, now you're building a reel. Now somebody on a national show like a Sister Circle can see, oh, this is how Byron does it. I like him. I see how he did this here. That's great. But a lot of
With
times
it.
people, and it's great to have confidence. We all should. We all should feel
Yeah.
like as soon as I jump out here, I should be able to get on all the cameras. We should all believe that about ourselves. But I do think that, once you get that experience under your belt and once you have something people can see, pitching is great. A lot of people can get on
Yes.
the phone and say, I have somebody great that I want to pitch to you, and they're doing this, that, and the third, and that's great. But remember, that producer on the other end has heard that same story 5 million times.
I
So
agree.
what separates you from the other people that they're hearing about, and have been hearing about? So build it up, your own platform, get some local hits, get on some local shows. It's a great way also to make mistakes and nobody really kill you on social media for it. So
Except
make the
10 years
mistakes.
later when they pull it out.
There you go. Make the mistakes on the local level. Figure it out. Figure out the way that you move and your cadence and all that good stuff. Get a reel going, and then now time to go to the national route. And I think in that respect, you'll get a lot more good, solid feedback a lot faster.
I think you just helped. Thank you for that. I think you just helped some authors, some entrepreneurs, some musicians. I think you really just helped some people who really are in that space. That's something I get asked a lot. And coming from you, I think that's going to have a little more weight. So thank you for answering that question. That was definitely a sidebar question, not the one I wanted to ask.
But it's a great question. I appreciate it.
But like somebody was going to need that, and so I'm glad that it helped. I think that helped Summer. So I'll go with that.
Cool.
Now I do want to talk to you about, because this is the heart. Welcome to the heart, by the way.
Oh no! Here comes the good stuff.
On the heart, we like to dive into real stuff. So we got some things that are going on right now. One of those is, get ready, the whole Will and Jada thing. Have you ever been in a throuple? Now, a throuple is that situation where you're in the middle of a couple. Have you ever been in that situation?
No, I absolutely not. And if I was, I didn't know about it. Not something I'm interested in. Number one, because I just don't want. That's just not me. Number two, I think the good Lord would not be pleased. And number three, people are very crazy, and I don't want anyone coming to my house threatening my life or my money. So
that's real. That's real. That is so real. Look, that whole situation. I don't like to talk about other people's relationships, but I do like to talk about the overall truth of it, which is that was a very interesting dynamic. The situation was dynamic, and the exposure of it was very interesting. I think that's why people don't get in thruples, is because all it takes is one person. And if you got one other person, if you only got two, then you know it was the other person.
Exactly.
So you got more opportunities for stuff to leak out. So you just got
exactly.
Now, you may not be in a throuple, but what are you in any relationship or dating right now?
You know what's interesting? I've had a very it's almost like I'm in some sort of famine. It's very weird. It's like a dating famine.
Famine.
A dating famine. Hashtag
I don't believe
famine.
that.
Let me tell you something. It's the real deal. I am, there are guys that I meet, that I date. I've dated. And here's the deal. Sadly, I don't think there's a lot of men. I'm 34. I haven't run into a lot of men that understand conceptually what dating is. Like how to date, how to ask a woman on a date, how to be proactive in finding out where you're going to go, maybe asking her what she likes to eat or something like that. What are some of her interests? Finding things that could be fun, being proactive, functioning just as a whole man, and saying, okay, would you like to go here? Okay, great, let's go here. If she's uncomfortable with him driving, okay, can we meet at 7? Okay, great, let's do it. A lot of men want to skip the courting phase that I have dated. I cannot speak for all men. I don't want to come on here as a male basher, but I
No,
will say
I
that the
think
men
that's
that I have
fast.
dated do not understand the basic fundamental concept of courtship. And
Good.
they want to bypass that, and they want to do other things that happen when people are actually in actual relationships. And so for me, I don't move in that way. And I've come across a lot of gentlemen too who are just either not ready and who are just kind of non-committals. They like me, they like the ideal of me. They know, okay, she's got it going on, but I'm not ready. It's almost like I scare them in a sense. I kind of affirm some of the things that they're insecure about. And
Good.
so and that's on their end. But on my
Good.
end too, on my end
That's
too,
all right.
I will say in the past, and I've worked on this, in the past, there's been a lack of vulnerability on my part. And also, I think that I've been a bit dismissive, not as patient as I probably could have or should have been. I think I'm in a much different place now, but I haven't, it's just been really tough. I will admit, it's been tough. I met some good guys, and a lot of these guys I'm talking about are not bad guys. They're some of them are fathers, great fathers. Some of them have great jobs, nice looking guys, take care of themselves, speak like they're good guys, professionals and all, but
So
they don't
can
understand
I
the other
get you
part.
for 1 second here? Because if we were in a love coaching session right now,
Oh
here's what would
God,
happen.
he's got me down to the therapy. Let's do
Here's
some.
what would happen. Okay, I promise you, this is exactly what I would say. I can see you already. I can feel you already. I can
Oh, he
feel your
feels
energy.
God.
Looking at your resume, I can already tell that there is going to be a level of intimidation. You've embraced that, right?
I'm learning to accept it. I don't know about
Okay.
embracing, but
So,
I'm learning to
number
accept
one,
it.
I need you to embrace it. I need you to accept that most of the men that you encounter will be somewhat, even if unstated, even if successful in their own right, somewhat intimidating. I need you to accept that, because what that does is allows you to move in a different pace, because your expectation is now creating energy that is not conducive to a relationship working. Can I
That's a
can I
good. That I will accept that. I will
Okay.
receive that.
So the first thing to work on is accepting that I am a strong black woman. I want a black man. A black man, based on statistics and experience, is going to be intimidated by where I am and who I am and what I've done. Bam. Now,
Okay.
once you get that down, now you move into it like, I already know how his mentality is going to be. How do I counteract that?
Mm-hmm.
So you've now got to be, now that you're aware, and this is for everybody watching, who is strong and independent and got their stuff working for them. You've got to get to this place where you are the person who is directing the relationship. And I know that's hard to hear, because you have been conditioned as a woman to be the one that allows a man to lead the relationship, right?
And
Okay.
I've seen it, because my parents, I married 35 years, still married.
That's
I've
nice.
seen it. So it's
That's
hard.
nice.
It's difficult
And
to kind
my
of
great grandparents they
recalibrate.
were put together. They were put together by somebody else, and other people's families. They weren't even chose. They didn't even get to choose their partner. They were put together. So
Arranged marriage.
you can't. You're right. You can't use what you saw. Now it's great that you saw tactics and
Mm-hmm.
strategies and situations that were healthy, but it doesn't mean that it's going to apply for this generation today.
I agree
Every
with that.
generation has their own love process.
I agree. I can agree with that. Well, let me
Okay.
ask you this then. Let me
Yes.
ask you
Yes.
then with all of that said, when we look at manhood in this generation, I'm a millennial still,
Yes.
so when we look at millennial men, black men in particular, is the expectation for them to lead not a good expectation to have in the capacity that I'm thinking it is?
Yes.
Is that the
So here's
wrong
what I
way
would say
of
about
thinking?
leadership, right? Okay. What we know of leadership is definitely in the black community from our black churches. We are known to have a pastor. I'm a former pastor, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
We are taught to have a pastor, and the pastor makes the decisions and leads the church and guides the way. And everybody comes to the pastor and he prays for him. And that's what we think of a man. That's what we think of a husband. That's what we think of a partner who's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the dynamic today, though. A lot of those men didn't go to church. A lot of those men didn't get exposure to leadership,
Mm-hmm.
because in the older generations, the leadership they saw was a strong black man in the pulpit. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have that. The closest thing we got was Obama. That's the closest thing a lot of black men got to real leadership who aren't going to church. And so you got to come with that knowledge. Like, I'm putting you on game right now. Like, this is the reality for most of the men you're talking about. They may be successful, they may be accomplished, they may be strong, but they don't know, they haven't seen leadership. The leadership they've seen has been white people, white men leading. And the white men leading don't lead like black people. And black women aren't like white women. And relationships aren't the same in our communities. So here's what's got to happen. If we know that women are still going to church and they're seeing strong black men in the pulpit, if we know that black men are falling back from that and they're not getting it, the woman has to step up and has to be a guide, right? Like, you have to be the air traffic controller to be like, this is what I expect. And it has to be very clear, right? Right. So it has to be very clear. Like, oh, by the way, so can you go ahead and pick the place? And I promise you, see, I'm not, just because he hasn't seen leadership doesn't mean he doesn't know how to rise to an occasion. Right. Because black men have to rise to occasions. And so we're good at that. If you put something before us, we will rise to it because that's what we're conditioned to do. So you have to then be the initiator for some things that you thought a man should naturally initiate.
That's fair. And let me say this. I have said, okay, if you want to do something, pick the place. I've said that. I would like you to pick the place and let me know what you've decided. And some men are still the day before, night before. So, what are we gonna do tomorrow?
So
yeah,
you work.
But I just but yeah. So I'm gonna do. Can you be run over here? We had a whole week. I was calm and normal.
Gives me a little information.
What are we doing?
So that tells me real quick. I can give you a quick fix to that. Because this will weed out people real fast. Can I help everybody real quick?
Come on,
if you know you're telling people that, hey, pick the spot, and they're not knowledgeable enough to say, I will pick the spot, let you know the day before, within 24 hours, then here's what you do. Hey, can you let me know by Friday at 8 o'clock where we're going tomorrow so that I can just get ready? Because that little tweak now makes it very clear what type of person they are. Are they the type of person that holds their word? Because you made it crystal clear. Not only is the responsibility in your corner, but the timing is in your corner. And if he can't rise to that, that's probably not somebody for you in general. Okay, not based on who you are, right?
I can put the time clock on him. I can do that. That's very minimal work on my part. That's no problem in doing
it. It's an extra step, but it narrows it. See, you gotta understand. Men think in very minimal ways. They're like, we'll figure it out. We can go with the flow. We can make it happen. Yeah, I got some places in mind, but he hasn't narrowed it down. Picking it down to a time makes him say, okay, I have to pick a place because I got to tell her something. I can't tell her I'm just going to be, I'll talk to you at 8 o'clock the day of, and we'll hear we'll play because he already asked me for the day before. And so if he falls through on that, then that may be a better option.
Okay, I received that. See, I'm easy. I'm not here to buck the system. Okay, I want to be married and have a family one day. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and both my sisters are married. So I'm the last woman standing. What do I have to do?
So let me ask you a relevant question, because this is key to all of this. How do you feel about love? How hopeful on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being, I believe in love, it's everything, it will work, I got it, it will be all right, to 1, which is this ish ain't gonna work for me. All right, where are you on the scale?
You know what? I think it's ebbs and flows. I think sometimes I feel very hopeful. I'll probably be like around an 8-ish. And sometimes when I'm on social media too much, or I really start to turn my attention off of what God is having me to do and preparing me as a woman for what he has for me and move over to what somebody else has, looking at my sisters or looking at my cousin who's like my brother, he's married too, looking around me, seeing what I want, it reminds me of what I don't have, and then I go down to a 1. But right now in the quarantine, because the good Lord's working on me, I'm probably about an 8. I believe that it is my heart's desire, and so I don't take that lightly. There are some people who don't want to be married, who are okay with dating. They may not want children. They're okay with that. I the desire of my heart is to be married and have children. So that's what I try to hold on to. I'm like, if I feel this strongly about this inside, then that is something that I believe that God has for me, and then I can have. And so I try to hold on to that more so than the. But I'm gonna tell you, it has been this black men. I mean, the ones I have dated, talked to, whatever. It's been very disappointing. And so for me, sometimes that disappointment overshadows the hopefulness that I want to have more consistently. And so
Gotcha.
I want to believe in them more. I want to believe that I can have many of the things in a relationship that I've asked God for. You're not going to get everything, just like they're not going to get everything in me. I'm not 100% of what a man would want, but I just believe that it's possible because I've seen it. If you don't get everything in a person, it's compromised to some degree. Now,
I gotta stop you.
when you all lovey-dovey and in love, yeah, he's everything I could ever wanted. But then you marry him, you're like, okay, he needs to put his shoes in the closet. Okay, he needs to clean up.
No, those aren't real things. All right, shoes in the closet is not a real thing. That's not a real thing. That is petty. Okay, you have left your shoes outside the closet before, so don't do that. So I don't deal in petty stuff. Here's what I do, and here's why I got to stop you, right? Because this is why we don't get what we want. Let me ask you a question. This is how I break it down. Do you believe in the next 10 minutes you'll still be breathing? And what I mean by that, do you believe there will still be air where you are?
Yes.
Why?
You know what? Because I believe the Lord is going to supply the air. I don't even think about it. Nothing in my environment is saying there's going to be no air. So I'm just turning up in my own setup. I'm not thinking that.
If you heard what you just said and knew where I was going, you would be shouting in your corner right now. Let me just tell you something. What you just said is so profound. Everybody hear that. Because you told me that you believe that you'll be breathing in the next 10 minutes because you have enough faith to know that there's enough air around you that you'll survive. Mm-hmm. And that God won't let you stop breathing because God will keep providing the air. Do you realize that there was enough love around you?
Yes.
That there is no way that you could not find and get and attract the love that you're supposed to have. Do you realize it doesn't matter how many times you hold your breath, because that's really what it is. It doesn't matter how many times you hold your breath. When you release yourself, the vulnerability, when you release yourself.
That's a good point. Now you're hitting on something.
Come on. When you release yourself, the vulnerability, when you release yourself, the vulnerability, that's when you're able to what? Take in what's already around you.
Come on, Pastor, you're turning up.
I'm feeling something right now because
you're hitting on a big point. You're hitting on a big point. You're exactly right.
I have seen so many people change their lives simply by realizing that by being vulnerable, you actually give yourself more power to find love than defending yourself or guarding yourself. Here's a better way to approach even all the dating, right? All the dating. Come with no expectation, right? Like when you came on this interview, the one thing you hoped was that I wouldn't be crazy, right? Like at least this brother is not crazy. He won't ask me anything too crazy, and at least we'll have a decent time. Like that was at least bare minimum expectation, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is enough for a date.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And that's all you need. What I'm saying is that's it. See, that's not what we do though. What we do on dates is he's got to do this. He's got to take me to this type of place. He's got to open the door like this. He better talk to me like this. It better be that. And all of that, we negate sometimes just how we feel.
Okay.
Like, okay, so he may not check every man box that you have said, but when you left his presence, you laughed, you felt comfortable, you felt safe, you felt secure, you felt like I could talk to him again and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you expect any more sometimes of your friends than that?
Depends on what friends you're talking about.
Not talking about prison benefits. I'm talking about People who are like, it's like I'm in a space right now where I've realized, look, love is very simple. It is, I can choose anybody in the entire
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm trying to find is somebody that gives me the feeling that when I'm by myself and I feel at my best by myself, that I feel the same with them.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So here's what you need to do. I'm just going to tell you this. I'll give this free. Document what you need and what gets you to the best place possible all by yourself. Because when you are very confident in that feeling, when you feel that feeling all the time and you are living and embodying that feeling, guess what? When someone comes around and they present that feeling to you and you feel that feeling with them, then something clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you're doing a guessing game. Because the day you may want tall, tomorrow you may want short, today you may want Fortune 500, and the next day you may want small time business entrepreneur. So you've got to go with the feeling that you felt and conditioned yourself to feel when you were single, because that feeling you can trust.
You're spot on. It's been, for me, the challenge has really been embracing the singleness, not looking at it as a burdensome scarlet letter, but really like an opportunity for self-growth, to, like you said, to figure out the things that move me in certain ways and being totally okay and in love with my whole self. And so it's so crazy because the pandemic has really put me in a position where I've had to kind of face that and really do that work, not just here and there. If I go to therapy once or twice a month or one day over here, but consistently every day doing the work, being cognizant that the work has to be done. So it's very, even us talking now is a very timely thing for me, because I've already kind of felt different layers being peeled back and being forced to have to really just deal with me. Like I don't have the distractions of having to work 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, sometimes 17-hour days. I don't have it. I set my own day. There's not a lot going on right now. Sometimes I just sit here and I'm like, man,
That feels good.
Yeah, and even from a vulnerability standpoint, I mean, I feel like, I'm not a big crier. My friends get on me about this all the time. They're like, crying is so therapeutic. It's me looking at it as a weakness when it's not. But finding myself, even in this pandemic, sometimes I'll see something, I'll be so moved. Like, what is wrong? I'm looking around like, what's wrong with me? But I'm in the house alone, so it's weird. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm just having a time. But that's fine. I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be emotional. I'm supposed to have feelings and be vulnerable.
That's right. Feel everything.
I feel like that ice pick is kind of just chipping away at some of the guard and the coldness that I didn't even realize I kind of had and built up because of the way that I perceive myself in dating certain men, in the result of what happened with them, and kind of putting it back on me, like, well, I must not be good enough, or I must not be doing this right. Or it's not really about right and wrong all the time. It's not about where I failed. It's about an experience that, okay, what can you take from it? And like you said, it's not, I'm a former athlete, so I think of a lot of things also as X's and O's. And I think, you always look, okay, if you practice hard, you play hard. If you practice like crap, you play like crap. So sometimes when you're practicing hard and something don't work out, you're like, I failed. But it's about owning and embracing every experience and every exchange. And as I get older, I'm coming to understand that. So I'm not looking at everything as a game. It's because it's not, and it's not perfect. And even people make mistakes even in dating, and that shouldn't mean, all right, well, I'm done now. He was terrible. There's some people that have had a bad first date and got married.
No, that's real.
You don't know.
So that is so true. Dating, love, not even dating. Love is a journey. And the reason why I say it's a journey is because there is no achievement. It is ultimately movement. It is movement forward in a direction that feels good to you. And there is nothing that you are trying to achieve. Your sisters and mother and cousins and aunts and whoever else getting married before you doesn't matter. There is nobody else on your lane. There is nobody else who's competing with you. Love is not a competition. So in the sports person in you, there is a sense of competition. But in the love journey, there is no competition. It is your journey alone. It is yours to figure out. It is yours to process. It is yours to enjoy. And so you get to choose to enjoy it. You get to choose to enjoy the season of singleness. You get to understand that singleness is selfishness. You get to be extremely selfish right now. This is the only phase of love.
All my married friends tell me, they're like,
come on,
and when you get on the other side, you're gonna see.
You get to be selfish, that you get to do anything and everything you want to do. You get to do it now. You get to do it when you want it. You get to do it tomorrow. You can procrastinate. But in dating, in relationships, in engagement, in marriage, even in divorce, you got to think about somebody else.
Yeah.
Take this time. I'm telling you, I am begging you, figure out what you love, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what satisfies you, what is enough. Get your levels right. You know what I mean? Like, this moment, you get to say, this is my base. Like, if I'm here, I'm good. So that when I'm in a relationship, you know where your base is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Because if somebody only takes you to your base, then that's not a good match.
Right. You're right.
But you don't know that until you know your base. See, if you're in a situation and they are doing the bare minimum, if you haven't really self-evaluated, you might think they're doing something up here.
You're right.
And you will give them up here attention and up here energy and up here love, when really it's like
they down in the basement somewhere. They down in the basement. I put them in the attic. They in the basement. Yeah.
So I don't want you to think of any. The word I heard you say was disappointment. I don't want you to think of any relationship that you've encountered as a disappointment. I want you to think of it this way. Every relationship that you encounter is an opportunity, because it's an opportunity it's not about them. It's about you learning yourself. And people are a mirror for us. And so what triggered you, what felt good when they were in your presence, what felt bad when they were in your presence, all of that was really to help you learn you. It wasn't about them. And we get lost in them, their name, their identity, the possibilities of who they could have been to us. None of that matters. What matters is what I felt when I was with them and what I learned about myself when I was with them. Because here's what you should be able to say, athlete, is that I know what it's like you did track?
I did basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to shoot the ball and get it in the basket. I know what it's like. I know that feeling. I know what a shot from the sideline, a free throw, that's 3-point. I know what that feels like, game-winning shot. I know that, right? And because I know that feeling, if someone walks in my life and they give me rebound energy,
they gotta go. They gotta go. I don't want Dennis Rodman. I mean, somebody else might want him. I need Michael Jordan. I need MJ. I need the GOAT. I'm just saying.
Use that athlete brain that way. You know the feeling. You know the feeling of victory, and you know the feeling of defeat. And those feelings are very unique experiences. Use those to say, this is what it feels like to win. This is what it feels like to lose. And you learn something from each. You know that. You learn something from each. Your coach will tell you that. And so use that opportunity in your dating life to say, these are the things. In fact, get your list out. The people that you've already dated over the last, let's say, 3 years. Go ahead and write all their names out. The things that you learned from each experience, not about them, but about you.
Okay.
That's
good homework.
That's good homework.
Nobody told me I was coming over here for a therapy. They tricked me.
Set you up.
I thought we were going to talk about love. And what happened really fast was the tides turned and this became a therapy session. But I received it because I needed it anyway. So thank you, Leslie, and the Tops Agency. I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
This is all love over here. We just want to do. We're changing lives one heart at a time. I'm
Yes,
telling you, I
God.
promise
I
you.
love it.
No, I want to see. My goal is really to have everybody, at least 100 people, in love by the end of this year. And I am in a space where I do believe that it's not only possible, but it's probable, because there is so much openness and loving hearts out there who want it. Mindset set shift, right? Mindset shift, and then it. I promise you. Here's. I'll give you another thing. Let me give you one last thing, and then we'll go into something else, because I'm not going to give you a hard time today. Imagine the sun beating on you, right? The sun is the sun. The sun's not going anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say it's noon, the sun is high,
Mm-hmm.
and you have an umbrella, a baseball cap, no, a sombrero, an umbrella, a sombrero, and you have a hoodie on, um, and you're wondering why you are not feeling the full extent
Of the sun.
of the heat of the sun. It would be almost, somebody would look at you like you were crazy. Do you understand that you have blocked out every ray possible from the sun with your long sleeves, your long pants? You got high waisted, high knee, like you are set up, closed toe shoes. You got glasses on. So what were you expecting? Vulnerability in this season, being as free and as naked as possible, is what's going to allow the full brunt of love, the rays of love, to attract into your life. That's it. That's all I want to say.
That was dope. I hope everybody is getting cashing in on my free therapy session. I hope everybody is taking notes. You're welcome. That's all I got to say.
Just remind everybody the sun is not stopping. The sun is still shining. All right.
I
I
have
don't care
not
what
been
your
getting my sun.
experiences are.
Byron, I have not been getting this sun. I have to do better. I got to at least take the sombrero off and the open toe shoes. Let's start with
Come
that.
on.
And as we
At least
work
put your toes
forward,
out there.
there we go. As we work forward, I'll be down to my swimsuit in a little while. But let's just take the sombrero off and the closed
I
toe
need to
shoes
see a
for now.
suntan on your sandal foot, okay? That's real. No, so I want to thank you for going through that, because I think a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to get that. And as a love coach, it's hard to hear, hey, maybe I've been the problem. Because it's easy to say everybody else is the problem. It's easy to say there's no
Correct.
good men. It's easy to say that everybody's playing games. It's easy to say nobody has home training. It's easy to say that, but you are the somebody. Like, you are in
Correct.
the
You are
somebodyness of the
absolutely
somebody.
right.
So if you have a good mind and you want love, then that means there has to be somebody that wants it and is willing to do the right things to get it. So just by that logic, there are people. Clearly,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you this in the beginning, and I will switch to something else. You mentioned earlier that you saw all the people, when you were online, you saw people in love.
Mm-hmm.
When you were online, you saw your friends in love, your family in love.
Supposedly in love, because you don't know people's
Well, you
business.
don't know, but here's what it's your thought about that was what I don't have. And okay, mentality shift. You ready? All right. Instead of what I don't have, what I see that is possible.
That's a big shift.
One of the main things I tell my clients is, I want you to invade your life with positive images of love. I want you to go back and watch some movies. I want you to go back and watch Love and Basketball. I want you to go back and watch all the love movies that you can that promote love and happiness. Because it's not about what you don't have. It's about how you're thinking about what you don't have. Because watching them says it's possible. It's possible.
Right.
Faith is only necessary when you don't believe something is possible.
You're trying to turn up.
Faith is only like, you don't need faith to breathe.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
I'm trying to get you to a place where you don't need faith to believe in love.
Wow. That's good.
Because you know it's the sun. You know that God is shining that love on you all the time. There's no reason why you wouldn't get it.
You're right. And I'm not at that point, but that's where I need to get to. That is totally spot on. I have nothing to say behind that. At all.
Well, that's why I said I was conclude right there and let that for everybody watching. Thank you for enduring that and allowing her to endure that in public. I think it helps people though when we do these kind of things. I just want to say to you, going back to you more, that your shows are great. You really have an amazing focus. The timbre of your voice is amazing. Like I could really see you
Thanks.
in front of camera more. You have a natural way of talking. I can understand why you got along with the women on Sister Circle, because your timbre, the timbre of your voice and the energy that you project is so effortless, natural.
Thank you.
So absolutely. I want to encourage you though, because I know that can be difficult. I feel like you've been in a space where you may have been taken advantage of a few times, more times than you want to admit. And it is definitely creating an energy in you where you have a little bit of self-doubt about the possibilities of what can be. But the very nature of what I'm feeling, even from you, and the way you're able to respond with some of the most difficult things that we could talk about, which is your love life, with such humility, says that there is a very specific blessing on you to do great things. Like you have the favor of something higher that I don't want to define for you because I don't know your spiritual journey, but I will say that it is on you because you have endured enough, right? You have endured enough that you know yourself and you know a little bit more about your voice and your energy. But I need you to trust what's ahead. I need you to trust what's ahead and trust that what's ahead is good for you. You are in this self-doubt energy. And you got, even somebody mentioned earlier, like how good you look right now. Like, I don't even think you realize how good you look. And I'm not just talking about your looks, they're great, but I'm talking about like good you look as a person, as a package. And I was told this early on by a mentor, a business mentor. You may not be known really big, but your product is really big. And you got to start valuing your product even if people don't know you. And so I need you to value up your product even if you feel like people don't know everything that you're offering.
You know what's funny? I was just talking about that on the podcast today. And I'm somebody who's really working through not caring about what other people think, whether it be a friend, whether it be a stranger, whether it be family. And I was explaining to her, you know, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder for many years, probably about right before Sister Circle and probably the top of Sister Circle, I would say, because I felt like I wasn't being seen. I'm doing all this stuff. Why don't you see the totality of what I'm bringing to the table? Why do you keep wanting to force me into this box? Why do you keep wanting to put a veil over my light? I just was kind of bitter in a sense, I want to show them. And I think I'm at a point now where we're talking about it where I want to be so settled in what I bring to the table that none of that matters, because it's not about selling them anything. It's if I have a full understanding of who I am completely, what I bring to the table professionally, personally, whatever, they're gonna have no choice but to relent to that and receive it. But if I have not received it for myself, I can't expect somebody else to be like, oh yeah, of course, you're a producer, of course. You're a wife, of course. I can't expect somebody to believe something for me and about me that I don't truly embrace and believe in myself. So it's very key that you're saying that, because I'm, again, in this situation where I'm really kind of sitting on these things and chewing on these things and being okay with, you know what? I don't care if 5 people watch Just a Thought with Shari Nycole on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to still do it. Because it's not, at a certain point, it's not even about, I didn't start it so 5,000 people could jump on. But I also believe that at some point 5,000 people will jump on. But it's about creating the platform and being able to do some of the things that I know I'm destined to do. So I'm just now getting to a place where I'm settling in. I'm like, this is me. I don't care if you all can call me a producer to the day you die. I know I'm more than that. And I'm going to keep pushing and doing the things I need to do. I've been single forever. I'm 34. Doesn't mean I'll never get married. But like you said, I have to know that to see the possibilities in those type of things. So it's crazy because a lot of things that you are saying are very, very spot on. Very, very much things that I have been tussling with a lot more since, in recent months, since I've had a lot more of me time. So it's crazy.
I love it. I love every bit of that. And thank you for sharing that, because that is, I feel this. When you were saying that, I saw a seed, and I heard this so clear. It said, the confident seed is not intimidated when it goes in the ground, and it's hidden, because a hidden seed knows that it's about to produce an amazing fruit one day. You got to be so confident with, you said they know you one way. That's fine. They know you as a seed. But they're about to know you as a tree. But then they're about to know you as a branch. But then they're about to know you as a stem. But they're about to know you as a fruit. And then they're about to know that you're amazing, and that you're right, and that you have so much life in you, and that you carry more seeds. See, that one seed actually has a generation in it.
Yeah.
And you have that. And it's like, if you got to be confident in your seed state, though. You got to be confident. Yeah. You got to be, call me a seed today. That is fine. If 5 people watch me today, I'm fine. Like on this show, I am fine when I have a handful of people watching. It's so crazy because people will pop in just to check out. And I know they're checking because they're like, well, what is he doing? How is he doing? What is this and why? And that's cool. Like, check me out, see what we're doing. It's all about love over here. It's a little weird to talk about love and not get messy and sloppy and degrading people and all those kinds. It's weird. I know it's not Wendy Williams, but I will tell you that I'm okay with being the seed. You got to be okay with being the seed.
Yeah.
And you got to be okay knowing that I'm a seed now, but I got fruit in me, and I got more seed in me, and I got things that y'all don't even know what I can produce around me, but it's okay because I'm confident in my seed state.
Yeah. That's good. Somebody should have told me that you got to save this live so I can go back and take my notes down, because no one told me to bring my notepad. Leslie should have told me to bring my notepad. It's fine.
Don't worry, it'll be on YouTube. The full episode will be on YouTube. So I'm just glad that we got a chance to talk like this. I come fully prepared to talk about everything about your life, but I never have a script for this reason, because I feel like I'm led to ask the questions at the time that they are needed. And I feel like today was truly a session. I don't normally do a full set like this. I would not long, but it was necessary, and I'm glad it helped. And here's what I know, because you drew it out of me, is that not only was it relevant for you, but it was absolutely necessary, because something's coming up soon. And it wouldn't have happened now unless it needed to. I'm a person who believes in timing. And so it wouldn't have happened unless it needed to. So everybody watch it too. Like, everybody getting all this knowledge. There's a reason why you watched and somebody else didn't. I need you to believe that. Like, this is good.
Yeah,
for you.
I think this is, it's funny because I don't really get into the love life stuff a lot. Anybody that knows me knows, outside of my little group of friends, I don't really do all of this. But this is a part of my self-work and me wanting to really put myself in a more vulnerable position to get out some of the things that I need to get out to grow. And I also will say, it's cool that we have a platform like this, because just because somebody else gets blessed, it's not a singular thing. It's going to if you're ready to receive it, it can resonate with multiple people and hit them as well. So I mean, anything that I'm a part of, I would hope that somebody, their mind is changed, or their life is changed, or they have a different renewed perspective, or they can go and have a conversation with a loved one or something that can kind of lead to some form of revelation. I just believe communication is the key to elevation. And a lot of times we don't have the certain conversations we need to because we're fearful or insecure or guarded or whatever the case may be. But when you actually just release and just allow the exchange, a lot of really dope things can happen. So, I was thinking it was going to be an interview. We might talk about other people's love life or whatever, but it's nice that, God offers this type of a surprise, and it's just very timely. I could go on and on about everything that you're saying and hitting on all the points you're hitting. And it does remind me that God is just very mindful of me, and everybody watching, he's mindful of all of us. And so he can use an IG Live interview to, sow some things into my life and confirm some things. So I appreciate you being obedient and just turning up, because that's fun.
Wow. Man, let's go. Let's go. That's what we're supposed to do. That's my purpose and passion is to really get people in this place where they love themselves and love their journey. So I'm just glad to be a conduit for that for you and to help you as a guide. That's congratulations. Like it's a good time for you. So that's obviously what that means. I will say this: I am excited to have met you. This is
Me
like
too.
your energy is like Paul said it, you have good energy. So that's
people always say that, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just chilling.
You tell me surprised. Don't try to be fake humble. You got good energy. Don't try that.
Well, good then. I'm glad you felt all this energy then, because you already know what I do. That's better.
You got it. So tell us where we can find you and what you got going on so we can follow you even more.
So, guys, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Shari, _Nycole, NYCOLE. You can also follow Shari Nycole Media on Facebook. I do have a few little slots left on my actual personal Facebook page. Also, Shari Nycole there. And then you can also watch Just the Thought on IG Live, on my IG Live every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then I do have a radio show that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So just stay posted to my social media to kind of get a feel for how that's going to go and air dates and stuff like that. But that deal's almost sealed. So I'm just really excited about moving forward. And everybody, thank you so much for your support. Those who are tuned in, who've been supporting me. Byron, thank you. Leslie, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. You could have asked anyone to be a part of this, and you reached out to me. So I'm just very thankful.
Wow. It was a pleasure. I told you guys, look at you on camera, just amazing. Thank you for being on the show and spending some time with us, talking about love and life and relationships and everything that is necessary in our lives to make us happy, healthy, and whole. And I wish the best for you, and I know you deserve the best. So keep doing what you're doing, stay the path, and I know your love journey is bright. So to all your fans and followers, keep following her and keep, for all of mine, join in on her journey. Let's stay connected. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you. And I'm setting up an appointment soon. So let's talk about that as well.
I'm for it, love.
Thank you so much, Byron.
No problem. You have a beautiful day.
You too.